I feel like too many of us are celebrities before we do anything in life. What is the character doing in a scene? Favorite word?
Yeah.
But if you really want to act, I think that you should put that thought away. Because acting is far from that. It's far, far from that. You need to be so in touch with yourself. It's a spiritual process. So yesterday I went to CrossFit and I'm still introducing myself to a lot of classics. So they had a section which was all-time classics and then all-time books, that favorite books that you should read, and then books of the 21st century. And they had a lot of classics. Classics for me, like they're generally like literature. So I think I started introducing myself just maybe like until like 2 years ago. Literature वांचती ज नहोती, मैंने वो गमतू ज नहोतो in fact. It's very important for like someone to introduce you to these things.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
Exactly.
I never had someone like that in my life.
Yeah.
My mom has a lot of books and she's read all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But she never went like, hey, beta, you should be introduced to this writer or what.
Yeah.
I just saw those books in the library and I was like, hey, one day I just picked them up and started reading.
Mm-hmm.
She would always encourage reading, but she never went like, oh, this particular book.
Mm-hmm.
Versus I am someone that if someone asks me, hey, what book should I pick, or if someone's even mildly interested in reading, then I'll be like, oh, I get excited. Oh, you should read this. I recently got to know about this. You should read that. So I think that when I have my own kids, I will be so enthusiastic to introduce them to books.
Right.
Or even like anyone like younger, like when my mom has this habit, when we have to gift someone something, she'll always gift a book. So I've also sort of developed that habit, and I think that books are the best gifts you can give someone. Thomas Hardy is one writer that I really liked. I enjoyed, like proper literature if you're talking about. I really liked his book Far From the Madding Crowd. It's very entertaining. It has so much conflict. It has so much drama, and that's the kind of literature like I personally enjoyed. Like it kept me gripped. It was very entertaining. So that's one, maybe that. And there's Oscar Wilde. So like superb. Like his work is like superb. Like it's so entertaining. It's so funny. It's so dramatic. So I really like his work. I was in PDP.
Yeah.
So I studied mass comm. That was my major. So I've done one semester of filmmaking as well. That's where I found my interest for films. But we also had a theatre class. That's where I figured out that I really like theatre as well. So when I finished college in 2017, I did a couple of plays. And I liked it even more. I really enjoyed the process of doing theatre. And I think I kind of enjoy it a little bit more than doing films. And I did a couple of short films. And I really enjoy doing short films over, I think. I personally think, and I could totally be wrong, because I have never been a part of a big budget film, but I've only heard things from assistant directors or actors or people from the crew. I feel like when you're working on a small project, you are extremely invested. Apart from, I think that money is the last concern. People are least bothered about how much money am I going to get out of it. And I think that's not a concern, which is what makes the process of making a short film so interesting. Is because you are only there because you want to tell a story. And that's what makes it, for me, I love when people are sincere. I love when people are invested in what they're doing, what they're committed to. But it doesn't have to be like, oh, aata bahut great film bani jamani hai. Nothing like that. It could be something very simple, maybe like a 1 minute short film, but like you want to tell it so much that your actor, whoever you've casted, also enjoys telling that story with you. because you are saying it from your own heart, like it's your truth in a way. Like there's a saying that says, "Jack of all, master of none."
Yeah.
That's what people think about SLS. But he would say, "Jack of all, master of one." And I think that's really stuck by me, and that also stands true for me to a certain extent. My main focus in life is acting. That's all I really want to do at this stage in my life. My mind is not wavering, and it's not like, I've tried playing the ukulele, so I'm into music, or these are just parts of my life or of my personality that I'm interested in. But my focus is just one thing. And when I started formally learning acting, I realized that knowing all of these things in life, it could be knowing about absolutely anything, especially when it comes to performing arts or literature or anything like that. The more you know, the better it is, because then you are able to incorporate all of that when you are casted for something that, for example, if I'm casted as a music teacher, I don't know, I'm just making it up. If I have a little bit of sense of music, I'm going to be able to bring that in. So acting for me is nothing but like your life experiences, whatever you've learned till date, you're able to add all of that into your character. The whole idea of acting changed. So when you ask someone, when someone asks me, they're like, what do you do? So I'm an actor. They instantly get very fascinated by the whole idea of, she's an actor. Oh, she probably gets a lot of attention. Oh, then you must be, just like naturally people just like you because you're into acting. There's so much to acting than looking good, presenting yourself a certain way, having great pictures on Instagram, having followers, having people follow you in real life. Acting is very different from all of that. This is not acting. These are just consequences of you being an actor. They're just like an after effect. So for me, like, the idea of acting completely changed. I got to know the roots. I got to know why people act. My intention of acting kind of became clearer. My belief of becoming an actor became stronger after I trained myself. Yeah, I feel like too many of us are celebrities before we do anything in life. Like, I don't want to have 1 million followers on Instagram. What have I done for you to follow me? Is it a certain way I look? Is it what I'm putting on Instagram is attractive? Or you like my vibe? I don't understand. But I haven't done anything concrete in life for you to follow me. Personally, at least in my life. So I feel like this whole idea of being a celebrity is very exciting, and it's also very exhausting. But if you really want to act, I think that you should put that thought away. Because acting is far from that. It's far, far from that. You need to be so in touch with yourself. It's a spiritual process. You need to be so raw. And I can understand that after a point, like when you reach a certain age, you're not in touch with your raw self anymore. Like, that's not very possible, because you've traveled and you've met people, you learn so many things. You can't really be raw unless someone just picks you up from a very young age. Maybe then you're raw, but you're not really raw. You've like learned so many things. Natural, or be honest, or don't try to put up a show. Then you are sort of a clean slate. If that is what people call rawness, you are a clean slate. So when I'm hired for a job or a role, for a character, I can start working from zero. Because I'm just myself. I'm not already someone else. I'm not a celebrity already. Very important. That's what acting really taught me, is to
Be yourself.
be yourself, and like, you need to stop judging yourself out of everything. Like, first thing. you judge people, that's secondary. But I feel like we end up judging ourselves so much that it's really important to be kind to yourself. Kindness is, if 2 years ago someone told me to be an actor you have to be kind, I would have laughed. So what are you talking about? That's how I would have reacted. But that's really true. Like if you're not kind and if you're not empathetic, how are you going to understand what's going on in a story? How are you going to understand the character? If I'm playing someone who's like a serial killer and I'm going to judge them, oh, you to subah uthe daru peete hai, cigarette peete hai, no, I don't do all this. And that's me outright judging the character. I have to empathize with the character. Why am I drinking? Why am I smoking? Why am I having this life? The why and how and where and what. So yeah, I think when you're kind and when you're empathetic, it's easier for you to understand the world better. So when I went to LA, for me, first of all, being by myself, I learned how to be, take care of myself. I learned that by miserably failing at it. I wouldn't have known that I don't know how to take care of myself if I hadn't gone out, which is your point, that you know yourself. But then there are so many things that I consciously, subconsciously picked from people that I met. Now, those could be good habits, bad habits, nice things, good things, not so nice things, very good things, brilliant things. And that's what I mean when I say that you sort of lose touch with a certain part of yourself. You are lucky if you're still able to sort of maintain that innocence. You would be lucky if you can still laugh the way you did when you were 10 years old. But some of us, like so many of us, can't do that anymore. We can't do that because you've seen so much you've seen so much of the world, you've seen so much of yourself, that the things that used to amuse you, they don't amuse you anymore. The things that used to bother you, they don't bother you anymore. I like that everything is very, like, you can, I feel like if I want to go somewhere, I can just go down, catch a rickshaw and leave. You can't do that in the US really. Or like in a very developed country. You pick up your phone, you book a cab, or you book an Uber. And this might seem easy for some people over catching a rickshaw. But I think because of like how I was raised or like how I've lived my childhood, is like just going down, rickshaw wale bhaiya, yahan jana. That part is easy for me than booking an Uber. And it's not like I'm 50 years old and I don't know how to operate a phone. But for me, it's more fun. It's easier for me to do that over cab, and there's a whole process. I like when things are like, I love that in India everything's on the streets. The whole country is on the streets. There are shops on the streets. You will find, if I want to get my shirt stitched, I just have to maybe walk maximum 1 kilometer. Maximum. I'll find everything in my area. I can just, so I think I would have sort of not enjoyed my birthday so much if it wasn't like with my sister. I think it would be very boring. I don't, as I'm growing up, I'm not really enjoying the process of a birthday. Like it's exhausting. Like all you're doing all day is replying to people like thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you're getting your undeserved attention that you don't get all year. So just everything is on one day. As if you've achieved something so great. And everyone's coming to you like, happy birthday, yay, it's your day. So we got Oslo like last September 2020. He is the brightest thing in a room. You can't get your eyes off him. He's taught us to be curious. Like even when he was playing with the balloon, he was playing with that balloon for the 100th time today. He was still looking at the balloon as if he's looking at it for the first time.
Like
and
a
looking
baby.
at it as if he doesn't know what the balloon is going to do to him. So as an actor, that excites me. Like I wish when my scene partner is saying the same line for the 100th time, I wish I was able to still look at that person as if they're saying it for the first time. So that's a beautiful thing to learn from dogs, and they're so kind and empathetic. Oh my god! Even if I just like gasp like right now, he'll get up and he'll try to like console me. Yeah, like when I meet certain people, they have this habit of constantly moving. They keep moving. Hi, how are you? They'll keep.
I do that.
They keep doing this. Like why they fidget, why they keep fixing their shirt again and again. That habit actually was broken when I took a class back in LA. It's called Method Movement. And we would do like all these exercises. We do like stretching and stuff like that. And then teacher would be like, okay, get up. So the moment you're done exercising, you're done stretching, you fix your shirt. He'd be like, don't do it. Let it be the way it is. And if it bothered you, you should have fixed it before. Don't even touch your hair, he would say. He wasn't a strict teacher or anything. He just wanted us to be getting rid of constantly trying to feel comfortable. These are our ways of feeling grounded, of feeling comfortable. When I'm standing, why am I standing like this? Why am I standing like this? Why do I have to like keep my hand like that? Why can't I just stand? That's my way of feeling protected, feeling guarded, or feeling secure, or feeling comfortable. But why are you feeling that in the first place? Like, he put that thought into my head. So whenever I see myself fixing something, or I see myself like doing something, I question it. Like, why did I do that? Say, for example, when I sat right now here, my first position was sitting like this. But the moment you started asking questions, I went like that. I became a little closed, defensive, I don't know what. But you know when someone's trying to enter your space.
What is your favorite word?
Favorite word?
Yeah.
What's favorite word? I've never thought of that. I don't know, maybe my favorite word is what? I think I say that a lot. Like what can be said in so many ways. Like it's not only a question. I was like, what? It's like a reaction also. It's not only a question. So I think I say what a lot. When someone cracks a joke, I'm like, what? Ha ha ha.
Right.
So
An expression.